You've heard it in many songs. You've definitely seen one in real life. You can recreate a whole symphony score with this piece. I'm talking about the piano. Today I'm going to be explaining everything that I know about the piano, consisting of its anatomy, its impact on people, and I'll even give an insight on two famous composers. According to a 1998 article on how products are made, the pianos are known to have the widest range in pitch, and it also has 2,500 parts. All of that to hear 88 different pitches. In order to understand the piano, here is a simple analysis on the build of the piano, how it affected the lives of the people, and finally conclude with the composers who influenced piano culture. So, like I mentioned earlier, the piano is known to have more than 2,500 parts that build it up. But let's just focus on how one key is played. So here's my visual on the anatomy of one key's worth of a piano. So if you press this one key, whether it's black or white, all these um all these compartments, they work together like in a chain reaction, leading up to this hammer, which swings and hits the string, which is the main component that produces sound. Now, according to a 1996 encyclopedia, How Products Are Made by Gillian S. Holmes, his analysis on the piano stated that the intricate collections of felt hammers, as well as the connecting parts, is called the piano action. Piano action, it entails the person that is actually playing the piano, or if the piano has a self-playing system enabled, because there are some grand pianos that actually have that system available. Understanding how the piano works helps classify its family type. So in this case, it would be belonging in the string family as well as the percussion family. String family because of the strings that are inside the piano, as well as the percussion family because of the hammers. Now, the growth of the piano has been so much in the 18th to 20th century, and even now. However, in the 20th century, it affected how people live their lives, later helping them embrace the piano. People embrace the piano in terms of literature as well as the usage of it. Let's first look at how it was impacted in literature, specifically poetry. So here I have an excerpt of the 1913 poem Piano by D.H. Holmes. Let me read it out for you. In spite of myself, the insidious mastery of song betrays me back to the heart of me weeps to belong to the old Sunday evenings at home with winter outside and hymns in the cozy parlor, the tinkling piano our guide. So, according to the 1999 interpretive article by Mary Ruby in the Encyclopedia of Poetry for Students, mentioning the piano connected the two stanzas, which only the second stanza was being mentioned, to highlight the connection between music and memory. In the 20th century, pianos were considered symbiotically rich, so much that houses felt incomplete if you didn't have one. According to the 2004 Encyclopedia of Recreation and Leisure in America by Craig A. Roll, the piano was associated with affluence and respectability, but also especially it also associated with women and domestic culture. Later, statistics in the same 2004 article showed that as of 2003, there were 17 million pianos in the US, with 100,000 of them being purchased and sold each year. This shows the overall growth in piano usage, seeing the piano's influence on people. Now, if students had to learn how to play the piano, what would they play? That's where the composers come in. Composers such as Carl Czerny and Ludwig van Beethoven were known to make composers that were not only famous, but also served as warm-ups for many of these students. So let's focus on Carl Czerny. Czerny was an Austrian pianist who made opuses, or as we know it, volumes or albums, for fingering exercises, such as working on finger dexterity. According to James Craddock's 2014 article from Encyclopedia of the World Biography, Carl Czerny had Beethoven as his teacher, and Franz Liszt, who would later on create some of the world's hardest piano pieces, Czerny's student. Now, Czerny also dreamed of being a like a touring pianist, but since he later on had the feeling that he lacked star quality, he eventually gave up on that dream. Instead, he just started making more compositions that would help students in the future, while he also taught some of those students. Now, you definitely heard of Ludwig van Beethoven and the fact that he was deaf. Although his hearing was regressing, that never stopped him. According to John V. Van Cleef, 1987, Melodic Encyclopedia of Deaf People and Deafness, Beethoven was considered a hostile, stubborn, and misanthropic person. But the character of the art never determines the merit of the art, does it? In the same encyclopedia from 1987, writer J. W. von Goethe stated that Beethoven was rough, somewhat unpolished, but nevertheless a genius. This shows that even critics still believe that Beethoven was a great composer, but most importantly, a smart one, no matter his odd behavior. These two composers have made a difference in piano culture with forming lessons for future students, proving that the abilities and the character of a person can never determine how good a piece is. Now, to conclude, I've explained everything that I know about the piano concerning its anatomy, its effect on the people, and I explained about two different composers who have helped many enjoy the piano. Remember how I said that the piano is the widest range of pitch? Maybe it's because of that so many people appreciate it, whether they're in or out of the U.S. Again, I've mentioned everything that I could about the piano. As it's an instrument that's well known and embraced by many. It's clearly seen that piano has made a huge difference to people around the world, to many of our lives, if we know to play it or not. Because most have heard the piano before, whether they've listened to it on the radio or if they've listened on Spotify. But anyone who's ever listened to it has always known that it's music to our ears.